Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I love being able to say that because I always said that at my old open mic. When I ran a Chicago open mic at the cafe, which is no longer there anymore, it's closed down, which makes me so sad. And then later at the Cafe Gallery, I'd always start by saying ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And oftentimes, if I would start early, it would be because, well, A, people are running late from getting to poetry because poets can't be on time. And because I had a set time limit where I had to start. So I would start by reading some things sometimes from Reason Scars Publications book releases, and really double plus thrilled to be able to share with you Down in the Dirt magazine. Used to be a subsection of CC&D magazine, but this is the February 2022 issue that is titled Web. And I think it's cool because not only has photography from John Yako of a spider web in the book, but a photo of him taking picture of a spider web on the back cover too, so I can show them both off. Double plus awesome. But I was going to read to you 3, maybe 4 poems that are in the absolute back of this book, and they are all pieces that not only, I've got that thing for my first poem, not only are in the book Web, but they're also going to be in the cyberwit.net 2023 poetry book from Janet Kuypers. It's not from my press, but they're doing it. It's called Testament. I just approved the cover today for Testament. Today, this is the government right there, Testament. It was the coolest thing for the photography for it and for having different sections of the book. And I think I'm going to read material from a couple different sections within this book, as well as the back pages of the Down in the Dirt book Web. I hope you enjoyed. And this first one I think I'm going to read for you is titled Your Government's Keeping Tabs, because it has different sections. The first section is post-Roe v. Wade stuff. The second section is all about dealing with suicide and depression issues. And then I've got things from the Holy Bible, from the Old Testament and the New for the last 2 parts. So it's kind of an interesting mix of stuff. But there are a couple poems that would separate sections, bonus poems, intro poems. And I believe this is a between sections poem. Probably between section 1 and 2, I'm guessing. I don't know. But this is titled Your Government's Keeping Tabs. The more we love our technology, the more we get sucked in. The more anyone can know anything about you, and the more Big Brother takes even more from you. You think I sound crazy. You wonder why I avoided even owning a cell phone until my husband told me I needed one, decades after the advent of cell phones, after moving me from one progressive city to a more restrictive state in these United States. And I don't care if my brother-in-law helped invent the cloud. I am not giving another company full control of my work. You think I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I swear, we forget how quickly we can lose our privacy with cameras everywhere in public watching you and your precious cell phone tracking your every motion. And don't forget that your apps keep your data to share with anyone, from companies who want your extra money to your overly invasive government who wants to take more of your rights. This slippery slope idea doesn't resonate with most. I get that. So I suppose it makes sense for some to use period tracking apps or pregnancy apps on your phone. But privacy issues are all but forgotten when potentially data monitoring women's reproductivity after abortions now nearly banned in at least 15 states, that can be used by our government when most of these apps have very vague privacy policies for their data that they track. You may think I'm crazy, ringing that conspiracy bell too wildly, but I don't care. It doesn't matter which abortion issue state I live in. I don't want anyone else knowing about my monthly cycles. You can tell me I'm just too protective of what should be personal to any human being, but I'm telling you, when we don't protect rights for some human beings, And people start by restricting women's rights in states passing abortion laws in what they claim is an effort to protect clumps of cells that aren't even alive. As you turn the other cheek when rights are taken away from some, then more and more rights are taken away until eventually there'll be no one to help you when they take you too. I'm sorry, it's fun. It just is. But I am going to totally change. These are all on different, these are all from different sections. This one is actually a piece that is in section 2 about abortion, not about abortion issues, that's section 1, but about suicide and right to life, depression that people go through. And this is a poem about a poet friend of mine who meant the world to me and to a lot of people, to C. Ramacourt. And this poem is titled Our Ships Would No Longer Cross. It was tough trying to take the time to see him, but you know, you have to make time for a God. I hear that religion's an important thing. And when he moved farther away, and then I moved farther away, well, we'd say we'd make an effort, but you know how life gets in the way. Life gets in the way, they say, even for gods and poets alike. And although I knew his pain in the past, he never spoke of it again until later. Once I was too far away to make a difference. So, once, when I was traveling at great lengths again, when my sun god happened to be closer to reach, I contacted him and I asked if I could make the trip to see him again. And he was curt, cut me off, told me no. I didn't understand his response. I just wanted to lose myself with my sun god one more time. And I was only told after his assisted suicide that his pain was so great that he cut everyone out because he became argumentative, belligerent. So maybe it was for the best that our ships would not cross one more time. If I couldn't help this God, and he would inadvertently hurt me in the process. I've been pushing it to the back of my mind, but I've been thinking about this lately, and I really can't get it out of my head anymore. Where is that point? That point of no return? And how does each and every one of us face it without losing our minds or just giving up? Then I wonder, how many people have given up and just not told anyone? They go through the motions when the pain is not so bad that they literally need to end their life. Then again, maybe some have given up inside without even reaching that breaking point. You see, this is why I've tried to avoid thinking about all of this, now that I'm about to cry because of the injustices to my friend, to my poet, to my wrestler, to that sun god we all, in a way, worship. We all think that in a way the light he gives helps to give us light, but we forget. We couldn't see, we didn't know, and there was nothing we could do. That for so many years he was dying inside. That's what happens to a sun. You remember your astronomy class. After all that energy expulsion and the burning of hydrogen, they eventually run out of power. Just collapse. Some hate to think of the death of a star, but we've learned about this. We should be prepared. And even though the sun god we know and love burns so bright, we have to remember this and brace ourselves for when some stars have to die. Sorry, that one was tough. Okay, I said I would do 3 or 4. That's halfway done if I've done 2. So I'm going to pick different pieces. Haha, I believe not only is this the second to last poem in this book, I believe this is the first poem in the book Testament. I believe it's the intro poem. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's not from section 2, and it's titled Information Carries Weight. Dateline Physics. A new experiment could confirm a fifth state of matter in the universe, alongside solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. If this is true, it could append what we think of as what could carry weight. Physicist Dr. Melvin Vopson has already published research suggesting that information has mass, and that all elementary particles store information. DNA for humans does this too, but if this is true, everything stores information, and information carries weight. If you think this is a joke, then take this with a 50-pound block of salt. Hard drives with information on them weigh more than empty hard drives. If information were the fifth state of matter, it would change physics as we know it, expanding our understanding of the universe, all while in harmony with the laws of physics. It doesn't contradict quantum mechanics, electrodynamics, thermodynamics, or classical mechanics. It actually complements physics, said Dr. Vopson. Not unlike a poem. Dr. Vopson even postulates that if information is the fifth state of matter, it may even explain the dark matter we keep guessing about but cannot see. Latest scientific papers outline how to put these theories to the test. To detect and measure the information in elementary particles, they do this by annihilating them. Energy would turn into gamma photons. Particles containing information would convert into low-entry infrared photons. So the infrared photons would emerge after erasing information. If this is true, maybe information is a fundamental building block of our universe. So maybe it's true that all the information we ever knew, from the genocide of millions to destroying dictators, or building bridges or traversing skyscrapers, all that with learning the fluidity of dance, listening to music, studying art, reading and writing poetry. Maybe all of it melds with the histories taught in schools or the periodic table we memorized in class and thought we'd never have a need for. Maybe all that physics is stuck in the backs of our brains to make us stronger or to give us the weight we need when facing new challenges accosting our rights. When people try to push us backward, maybe this information gives us our tools to fight ignorance until we can move forward again. We never thought we needed all that information, but we didn't realize information carries weight. And that information may be the most fundamental force of all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was the intro poem for the book Testament, and it was the second to last poem in the book Web. The last poem that's in the book is from section 1 of the book Testament, and I did a bunch of pieces from Roe v. Wade poetry. I hope you enjoy this one. It is the closing one for you, and it's called Only Considering Women's Rights. Wondering if I was the only one, wondering if anyone considered women's rights, especially after Roe v. Wade, I watched a television interview. Okay, It was on Comedy Central. Cut me some slack. The Daily Show conducts daily interviews, usually about relevant lunchtime poll topics, where the 70th Miss Universe talked about how she was bullied for gaining weight. So, even those who are perceived of as the most beautiful are also teased. But what stuck in my head is how she was going to rural towns to make feminine pads available to young girls, since many places don't even allow women access to the most basic reproductive needs. Because, well, we forget when, thanks to Obama, birth control is free in the USA. And that some parts of the world have it so much worse. I think of the third world countries who restrict women's rights so. I contemplate that, hey, maybe we women don't have it so bad here in the USA. And that's when I have to stop myself, remind myself that we women all have those rights. Or, wait a minute, we had those rights after fighting for them for too long. And these quote-unquote United States, that if this is supposed to be the land of the free, then rights should be allowed to full-grown women and not to missed menstrual cycles and not to mistakes, not human life, not living, breathing, voting human beings that do not have a heart. Go ahead, consider the dates of fertilization. Don't consider the person hosting cells that may one day be a human being. For these chemical reactions, if they had a brain, if they only had a brain with cognitive reasoning, they would beg you to respect the women first. So, I was watching an interview with Miss Universe. What an outdated symbol for the value of women. A woman from India talking about women's rights. And it made me wonder if I was the only one. Wondering if anyone considered women's rights. And that's when I close the book and say, ta-da! Because approaching 20 minutes, because I'd usually, if I was starting early, I would read things and then go into an open mic, so that seems like a reasonable amount of time for reading you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening to these poems that are in the most recent issue of Down in the Dirt that is titled Web. Ta-da! Web. Back cover. Photographing cobwebs. That's what it's all about. And these poems are also going to be in the, I'm so excited, the just designed cover for the book Testament. I might as well try to show these both off for you guys. Testament and Web. Try to show them both off. It's kind of tough. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this reading. I hope you guys have stayed safe. If you haven't been vaccinated, then, and you can, then how dare you? Stay safe. More importantly, stay creatively inclined. And thank you all so very much for listening. I look forward to hearing from you guys all very soon. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's a book cover. I don't have to thank that. But I'll thank Cyberwit when this book is released. Anywho, thanks you guys, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.